Good morning, everyone. We have started the series of the physiology, in which we have started the general physiology and the chapter number one, that is the cell physiology. So, Today we are going to discuss the cytoplasm and membrane-bound organelle, and which include the endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, lysosomes, etc. So, let's start with the cytoplasm. So, cytoplasm is a jelly-like material formed by the 80% of water. Okay, it contains the clear liquid portion called as cytosol. Okay, okay. So cytoplasm is basically the fluid inside the cell, so which contains the fluid-like structure, that is cytosol, plus the organ of the cell, that is called as organelle. Okay, so organelle plus cytosol is called as cytoplasm. Organelle plus cytosol is called as cytoplasm. Organelle plus cytosol. So cytosol is basically fluid-like structure. Cytosol is basically liquid portion without organelle. Okay, so that is called cytoplasm. So various particle, different shapes and size. Okay, the particle includes are the protein, carbohydrate, lipids, and electrolytes in nature. Cytoplasm cytoplasm usually mainly have two zones, that is ectoplasm and endoplasm. Okay, so let's say this is a cell, and inside the cell there is a, this is let's say this is a cytoplasm. So the layer of cytoplasm, or the portion of cytoplasm just beneath the cell membrane, it is called as ectoplasm. Peripheral part of the cytoplasm situated just beneath the cell membrane, it is just beneath the cell membrane, it is a peripheral part. Okay, and the inner part of the cytoplasm interpose between the ectoplasm and nucleus. So here is the centrally nucleus, and this is the ectoplasm. Between this ectoplasm and nucleus, this is the inside the ectoplasm. There is a another portion of the cytoplasm. We call it as endoplasm. Okay, so that's it. So organelle in the cytoplasm. Organelle is basically, it is a Latin word. Organelle is a Latin word. Organelle, the meaning of organelle means that is an organ of cell, or organelle means small organ. Okay, so organs of the cell is called as organelle, and the meaning of organelle is a small organ. Okay. So good morning, everyone. So we have started the series of physiology, which will cover the entire physiology of the Sembulingam. So we have started the general physiology. So in today's video, we are going to cover the cytoplasm and the membrane-bound organelle. So cytoplasm is basically a jelly-like material portion formed by the 80% of water. So cytoplasm is 80% water. Okay. So the liquid portion of cytoplasm, let's say this is a cell, and inside the cell, let's say this is a cytoplasm. So let's say this is a cytoplasm. Okay, so in this cytoplasm there is a liquid portion. That liquid portion is called as cytosol. Okay, that liquid portion is called as cytosol, and in this in this cytoplasm there is a organelle. Okay, there is a presence of organelle. That organelle plus that cytoplasm, we call it togetherly, we call it as a cytoplasm. Okay, so cytoplasm is called as organelle plus cytosol. Okay, so cytoplasm so contains both organelle and cytosol. What is cytosol? Cytosol is a liquid portion inside the cell. And what is organelle? Organelle means basically it is small organs. Organelle is a Latin word. Organelle is a Latin word. So, and the meaning of organelle is small organ or organ of cell. Okay. Okay. Organ of cell. We call it as organs. Organ, small organs. Okay, so this organ of cell, this is a small organ. We call it organelle, and this cytosol, that is a liquid portion of the cytoplasm, they togetherly form cytoplasm. Okay, they togetherly form cytoplasm, and cytoplasm contains 80% of water. Okay, so cytoplasm mainly two zones. There are two zones in cytoplasm. That is a peripheral zone, which is just peripheral layer of cytoplasm, which is situated just beneath the cell membrane. This is the cell membrane, and inside, just beneath that cell membrane, there is a layer of cytoplasm. We call it as ectoplasm, and inside here is a centrally located nucleus. Between this ectoplasm and this centrally located nucleus, there is a presence of another layer of cytoplasm. We call it as endoplasm. So ectoplasm is a peripheral part of cytoplasm situated just beneath the cell membrane, and the endoplasm is the inner part of cytoplasm. It is present between the ectoplasm and the nucleus. Okay. So cytoplasm contains various particles such as carbohydrate, proteins, and lipids, and electrolytes. Okay, many organelles with different structure and functions. Okay, so organelle in cytoplasm. So cytoplasmic organelle are the small organs or the organ of cell. Okay, small organs of the cell, and there are mainly two types of organelle present in the cell membrane. Those who are bound by the membrane, or others do not have limiting membrane. Okay, so one group of organelle is membrane bound, and another group of organelle is not membrane bound. So let's see first the membrane bound organelle, or organelle with the limiting membrane. The first organelle in the membrane bound organelle are endoplasmic reticulum. So reticulum means network. Reticulum means network. Reticulum means what? Network. So it is a network or tubular like network and tubular and microscopic vesicular structure. So it is a vascular structure, it is a tube-like structure, and the network of the tubes called as endoplasmic reticulum. So it is a membrane-bound organelle. It is covered by the limiting membrane, which is formed by the protein and bilayered lipid. The membrane of the endoplasmic reticulum is formed by the lipid and bilayered lipid means two layers of lipid and the protein. Okay. So we have discussed that the endoplasmic reticulum is a network-like structure. It's a network-like structure of the tubes. Okay. So inside that tubes, there is a space. The space inside the tubes is called as lumen. Okay. Lumen. Inside that lumen, there is a presence of fluid, and that fluid is called as what? Endoplasmic matrix. That fluid is called as what? Endoplasmic matrix. And the diameter of this lumen is 400 to 700 angstrom. And this endoplasmic reticulum, in this endoplasmic reticulum, so let's say this is a cell, okay, and this, let's say this is a nucleus. So, and this is the tubular and network-like structure of endoplasmic reticulum. So we have this endoplasmic reticulum is connect two structures of the cell, that is the nucleus and cell membrane. So it connect the nuclear cell membrane with nuclear membrane. Okay. So endoplasmic reticulum, mainly two types of endoplasmic reticulum, that is a rough endoplasmic reticulum, and second one is a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And the both types of endoplasmic reticulum are interconnected and continuous with one another. So rough endoplasmic reticulum. First one is a rough endoplasmic reticulum. So rough endoplasmic reticulum is a rough, bumpy, and bead-like appearance due to the presence of ribosome. Due to the presence of ribosome. So, on the external surface of this rough endoplasmic reticulum, there is a presence of the granular bead-like or rough or bumpy-like structure called as ribosome. Okay, and that ribosome is called as granular ribosome. Okay, on its outer surface, and that's why this endoplasmic reticulum is called as granular endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. So here are the two types of organelle present in the cytoplasm. Those who are bounded by the limiting membrane and those who are not bounded by the limiting membrane. The membrane-bound organelle includes the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosome, peroxisome, cytosome or centriole, secretory vesicle, mitochondrial nucleus, and the without membrane-bound are the ribosomes and cytoskeleton. So only two organelle in the cell are not bound by the membrane, which include the ribosomes and cytoskeleton. Non-membrane bound. Okay. Only ribosome and cytoskeleton are not bound by the membrane, and all other organelles in the cell are bound by the membrane. Okay. So here is the functions of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So we have discussed Rough appearance of the rough endoplasmic reticulum. The rough appearance of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is due to the presence of the ribosome, granular ribosome, on the outer surface of this surface. So, due to the this ribosomes on the outer surface of this endoplasmic reticulum, the main functions of that ribosome is synthesis of protein. So, this protein synthesis function is performed by the ribosomes, which is present on the outer surface, which is present on outer surface. So, it's mainly secrete the protein which include insulin from beta cell of islet of Langerhans in pancreas. Okay, so pancreas is an organ which secrete insulin, which make insulin. Okay, so this insulin is made by, there are three cells in pancreas which are called alpha cell, beta cell, and gamma cell. These three cells are called as islet of Langerhans, and the beta cell of that islet of Langerhans secrete the insulin. Okay, and second one is antibody from B lymphocyte. Okay, so ribosome arrange the amino acid into small units of protein and transport them into rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, ribosome arrange the amino acid into small units of protein and transport them into the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so basically that ribosome present on the outer surface, yes, usually synthesize the protein, and the carbohydrate molecule added to that synthesized protein, and that carbohydrate plus protein structure is known as glycosylated protein or glycoprotein. So the protein molecule which are synthesized by the ribosome, the okay, to that protein molecule the carbohydrate molecules are added, and that carbohydrate plus protein structure is called as glycosylated protein and glycoprotein, which are arranged in the form of reticular vesicle. These vesicles are transported to mainly Golgi apparatus. These glycoprotein are then transported to the Golgi apparatus for further modification and processing. Few vesicles are transported to cytoplasmic organelle. Okay. This protein plus carbohydrate like structure, called as glycosylated protein or the glycoprotein, is then transported to the Golgi apparatus for the further modification. Okay. Second functions of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is the degradation of the worn out organelle. So how can it degrade the worn out organelle? So it wraps itself around the worn out organelle and form a vacuole-like structure. Vacuole, which is often called as autophagosome. So autophagosome is digested by the lysosomal enzyme. So vacuole means basically bag. The meaning of vacuole is basically bag. It is from the bag-like structure. So rough endoplasmic reticuli attach the outer surface of the worn-out organelle. It forms the vacuole-like structure called as autophagosome, and inside that vacuole-like structure, inside that autophagosome, inside that bag-like structure, there is a presence of lysosomal enzyme, and the main functions of the lysosomal enzyme is the degradation. Okay, this autophagosome will be digested by the lysosomal enzyme. Second type of the endoplasmic reticulum is a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, it is also called as a granular reticulum. It is also formed by the many interconnected tubules. It is also called as tubular endoplasmic reticulum. It has a smooth appearance because of the absence of the bead-like ribosomes on their outer surface. Okay, and the functions of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum include the synthesis of the non-protein substance. Okay, it mainly synthesizes cholesterol and steroid, such as cholesterol and steroid. It involves in the synthesis of lipid, phospholipid, lipoprotein substance, steroid hormone, and sebum, etc. Okay, role in the cellular metabolism. Outer surface of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum contain the many enzymes which are involved in the various metabolic processes of the cell. Okay, so let's say this is a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Uh, on the outer surface of that smooth endoplasmic reticulum, there is a presence of enzyme. Okay, there is a presence of enzyme, and this enzyme involved in the metabolic reaction. Okay. Okay. So now storage and metabolism of calcium is another functions of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So during the contraction of muscle, Okay, during the contraction of muscle, so for the contraction of muscle there is a need of calcium, so during the contraction of muscle in skeletal muscle, the calcium is secreted by smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is muscle, is called as sarcoplasmic reticulum. It's called as sarcoplasmic reticulum. Sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay. And second one is the catabolism and detoxification. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is also concerned with the catabolism and detoxification of toxic substance. Okay, smooth endoplasmic reticulum is concerned with the catabolism and detoxification of toxic substance such as carcinogen and some drugs, cancer-producing substance in the liver. So these are all about the endoplasmic reticulum. So this is the membrane-bound organelle. So let's move forward and let's discuss the another organelle called as Golgi apparatus. It is also called as Golgi body or the Golgi complex. It is a membrane-bound organelle. It is involved in the processing of the protein. So, in the we have discussed in the functions of rough endoplasmic reticulum that the functions of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is synthesis of protein. So we have discussed here the protein which are synthesized by the rough endoplasmic reticulum are transported to the Golgi apparatus for further modification. So we have discussed it here. Okay. Okay. So Golgi apparatus is absent in red blood cell. It is present in all cell except the red blood cell. It is present in all cell except the red blood cell. In red blood cell there is absence of Golgi apparatus. So it is discovered by the Camillo Golgi. Some of the cell may have more than one Golgi apparatus. Each Golgi apparatus is consist of 5 to 8 flattened membranous sacs called as cisternae. It has flat membranous sacs called as cisternae. So we have discussed that the rough endoplasmic reticulum, it connects the cell membrane with nuclear membrane. Okay, and the protein which are synthesized by that rough endoplasmic reticulum are transported back to the Golgi apparatus for the further modification. So when the protein is synthesized from that rough endoplasmic reticulum, then it is transported to the Golgi apparatus. So the Golgi apparatus is situated near the nucleus. Okay, and it has two phases, that is cis phase and trans phase. So the cis phase is positioned near the endoplasmic reticulum, and reticular vessels of the endoplasmic reticulum enter the Golgi apparatus to the cis phase. Okay. So let's say this is the endoplasmic reticulum. Let's say this is a protein. Let's say this is a Golgi apparatus. This is the ER. This is the protein. This is a cis phase of Golgi apparatus. So this protein comes on that cis phase. Okay, this protein comes on that cis phase. Enter through the cis phase. The trans phase is situated near the cell membrane. So this cis phase is situated toward the nucleus. So here is the nucleus, and after the modification, this protein will be released out through that trans phase. Okay, this protein will be released out through this trans phase. So this cis phase is situated near the nucleus. And this trans phase is situated near the cell membrane. Okay, trans phase is situated near the cell membrane, and the process substance make the exit from the Golgi apparatus to the trans phase. Okay, after modification, it will be leave through the trans phase, which is situated near the cell membrane. So functions of the Golgi apparatus. Major functions of the Golgi apparatus are the processing, packing, and labeling and delivery of the protein. Processing of the protein, packing of the protein, labeling of the protein, delivery of the protein, and other molecule like lipid to the different part of the substance. Processing, packing, labeling, and delivery of the protein and lipids also. So these are the functions of the Golgi apparatus. First function is the processing of material. Vesicle containing the glycoprotein and lipids are transported into Golgi apparatus. Here the